I don't care how many shares you own, I said, looking dead in the eyes of 12 men in tailored suits. If I marry someone, I lose. If I don't, I lose everything. The room went silent. You could hear the damn air conditioning hum. I stood there, Avery Sloan, CEO of Sloan Tech, a company I rebuilt from the ashes my father left behind. I broke every record beat, every quarterly goal expanded globally. But none of that mattered now. Not to the board, not to my father's last cruel joke written into his will. Marry before your 35th birthday, or control goes to the trust. 90 days. That's what they gave me. 90 days to find someone I could legally call my husband or watch everything I built get hijacked by my cousin Blair and her fake pearls. So I made a choice. I wasn't going to marry some tech bro from Silicon Valley or a politician my PR team vetted. No, I was going to marry the janitor mopping the marble outside the boardroom that day. Yeah, that's how it started. His name was Chris Banner. Worn-out boots, faded uniform, salt and pepper beard like he shaved with sandpaper, but the man was reading Dragons of Marlow to someone over the phone with this soft, warm voice like the world hadn't been cruel to him, like bedtime stories still mattered. I stepped off the elevator and he didn't even flinch, just kept talking. And the dragon said, "You're the bravest knight I've ever met." On the other end, a tiny giggle answered back. He hung up and looked at me, calm. "You're not supposed to be on this floor." I smirked. "Neither are you." He gave me a nod like we were already even. So I asked him straight up, "You married?" He raised a brow. "Not anymore." "Good. I need a husband. Temporary. No press. 3 months. You get hospital bills paid, I get my board off my back." He stared at me like I'd just asked him to fake a moon landing. "That's the worst pickup line I've ever heard." "It's not a pickup line," I said. "It's strategy." "And you know what he said? You must be really desperate." I answered, "I prefer unbothered by convention." He agreed, but only on one condition. "You never lie to my daughter. Not once. If she's in this, it's not a game." And that hit me in a place I didn't even know I had walls. 2 days later, we were married at City Hall. No guests, no flowers, just a manila envelope and a silver band that felt more like a receipt than a ring. But that man, Chris, he didn't just vanish into the background. Every time I passed him in the halls, he looked me in the eye like we weren't playing pretend. Then the elevator incident happened. We got stuck. Me in a gown, panicking, and him calm as ever, sitting down like it was story time. There once was a girl, he said, who hated elevators. She thought they were lying to her, telling her she was rising when she wasn't moving at all. I laughed. For the first time in a long time. And for the first time in longer, someone didn't try to fix me. He just stayed. Turns out Chris was a children's author once, published under a pen name. Gave it all up when his wife died and their daughter Mila was born with a heart defect. Medical debt buried him. The janitor job. It was the only thing flexible enough to let him take Mila to her treatments. And suddenly our fake marriage didn't feel like a strategy anymore. It felt like two people quietly drowning in different oceans, and somehow we'd found a raft. Then came the day Mila showed up in my office. She was supposed to be home, but the school nurse had called. Chris had no sitter and she had nowhere else to go, so she curled up in my lounge sketchbook in her lap, crayons everywhere. She looked up at me holding out a drawing. It was me in a sleek black dress with a crooked paper crown and a red Santa hat. "You looked like a sad queen," she whispered. "So I made you happy." My chest cracked open. No one had seen me like that in... ever. That's when I told Chris, she can stay. With me. In here. He blinked like I'd spoken in Morse code. "You sure?" "She just made me royalty," I said. "Least I can do is give her crayons." After that, things changed. She ruled my lounge like a benevolent dictator. Every sketch she handed me felt like a therapy session wrapped in paper. And every time she reached for my hand, I let her. No guards, no hesitation. Then Mailer got sick again. High fever, emergency room. Chris bolted from my office mid-sentence. I followed without asking. When we reached the hospital, Mila looked up at me, cheeks flushed, and whispered, "Did you bring the crown?" I said, "No, but I brought me." That night we didn't speak much. We just sat on either side of her bed, hands almost touching across the sheets. Chris said, "No one's ever stayed before." I looked him in the eye and said, "I never knew what staying felt like until tonight." And when the board tried to throw me out saying the marriage was fake, Chris walked into the room, took my hand and said, "I'm her husband. Not for the headlines, for real." Even Blair couldn't argue with that. But the moment that changed everything, the second wedding. It wasn't planned, no guest list, no catering, just a rooftop at the children's hospital, a paper crown, and a little girl in a yellow dress whispering, "You're both mine now." Chris gave me a new ring. It read, "No clauses, just you." I gave him a vow, not written, not recited, but lived. I built my life outrunning loneliness, I told him. But you didn't chase me, you just stayed, and now I want to stay too. He looked at me, eyes soft, and said, "I love you." And I finally fully said it back. Now Mila draws all three of us. A stick-figure family, a new story. And it's not perfect. We still argue over toothpaste. I still eat takeout way too much, but we're here, together. Funny thing is, I used to think love was about grand gestures, flashy proposals, headlines. Turns out it's showing up when there's no contract, no benefit, no strategy, just presence, just staying. So let me ask you this, Sivaman. Have you ever been judged for how you look, where you come from, what you do, or worse, have you ever judged someone before, really knowing them? Because sometimes the janitor with a mop might just be the man who teaches you how to love again. And the CEO with the icy stare might just be a scared little girl desperate to believe in fairy tales again. Tell me in the comments, what would you have done in Chris's shoes or mine? Would you fake it to save everything or stay to save someone? Let's talk about it. And if stories like this hit your heart, don't forget to subscribe. We've got more. Because love, real love, isn't loud. It's just the people who stay.